All right, AfterBuzzers, we are nearing the end of season 4 of Queer Eye, but tonight on the Queer After Show here on AfterBuzz TV, we're going to be breaking down episode 7 called A Soldier Returns Home. Stick with us. We're getting into it right after this.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV Talk. Now, let's
Episode 7?
Whoa. How did we get there so fast?
It's a good one, though.
This is a really good one, man. Season 4 has delivered.
Yes, it has.
Can we talk about it? We're going to talk about it. What's up, guys? Thanks so much for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. We are your Queer Eye After Show panel. We are down a member, but we're still going to be rocking it out tonight.
Little girl power. Never hurt anybody.
Amen to that, girl. If you are just joining us for the first time, hello, welcome. My name is Christine Alexis. I am your host, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Anna K. Thomas.
What's up, guys? Happy to be here for our second to last episode of season 4. Crazy.
Well, the good thing is we are promised a season 5.
Yes.
If you've been watching our show, you'll know we broke that news a couple episodes ago. We're going to be going strong in Philly.
Philly, what up? It'll be good to be in a city, get some new energy. But for now, I'm really digging this episode.
Yeah. Right now, we're still in Kansas City, Missouri with, again, such an amazing hero. I know we say this every episode, but like, dang, Netflix, Square Out, you guys do your due diligence in picking some amazing, amazing heroes.
Absolutely.
So let's just get right into it, guys. This episode, we were introduced to Brandon Mixon. He is a 28-year-old veteran who co-founded the Veterans Community Project, which builds tiny homes for homeless vets. Amazing. He is a father of 3. He has 3 beautiful kids. And he is married to his lovely wife, Alexa. They've been together for 9 years, but things have been going a little sour lately. And they have unfortunately been growing apart because Brandon spends a little too much time at work and not enough time at home. Kind of the classic unable to figure out a work-life balance, which I know we can all relate to.
Definitely.
So Brandon, again, like we said, he's been so consumed with work. He has admitted that he has trouble opening up to his wife since coming back from the Army after being medically discharged. This was a huge traumatic event in his life that kind of leaves us to where we find him now. Just trying to pick up the pieces and, again, find this work-life balance. Mm-hmm. Just initial thoughts on our hero. What do you think?
Love him. You can tell he has such a sweet heart and that he puts so much energy and care into his organization, the Veterans Community Project. But you can feel that he doesn't really realize how much he's being missed at home. You know, to have your wife texting you, being like, I just want to spend time with you. And you can tell he loves her and he loves his kids, but it's interesting to see him give so much of himself to the community, right, and it's lacking at home, even though he's such a good guy.
Yeah, and you know, home is where the heart is. It's kind of hard to imagine that you can put so much into, you know, outward things like work when your tank inside is a little empty. Mm-hmm. Although for some people, I guess if you're a workaholic, that makes sense. But I don't know if you can relate. I need to feel like my best self personally before I can give my all into work. Yep. Brandon has somehow found a way to do the opposite. But it's obviously an issue that needs to be addressed, which is mainly why he was nominated. Another reason why he was nominated was Brandon is a skater boy. Yeah. He's like stuck in this phase of dressing that's just not appropriate to his age. Even being 28, I'm 27, and I can say, like, dude was not dressing up to par.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you go, girl.
No, well, I was going to say that.
Go on with your bad self.
Okay, girl. This is, you know, like we said, a lot of girl power on our panel. We do it together. Just wanted to get into why else he was nominated. He was nominated by one of the co-founders of his organization, the Veterans Community Project, because Brandon does not have a professional look.
I love the montage of his friends, like, kind of riffing on him, still saying how much they love him, but being like, this guy, like, he wears this weird overall onesie, and is just kind of like a kid at heart and never really, like, it's funny because he's so mature in so many ways. Like, I have so much respect to our military and our armed services. It's not something I think I have the strength to even do. And so to have that mental presence of mind takes so much maturity and strength. So you have that juxtaposed with his sort of like 28-year-old skater boy, dresses with whatever he wants to work, and it's really interesting to see him navigate both parts of his life.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without being said that having different looks for the different spaces in your life is super important. Again, he's got the work look down packed. I mean, when you're working on homes and building and doing construction, you got to wear what's comfortable. I think Brandon nailed that. And then again, speaking to his kind of youthfulness and his fun side, he seems like, considering all the cards that he's been dealt in life, he still has a very youthful and positive outlook and personality, even though he swears he's not vulnerable, which we'll get to later. It freaked me out, or annoyed me rather. But he can wear fun things like overalls and not take himself too seriously. But again, time and place for everything.
Exactly.
So it's a combination of getting him to look the part, look right for all areas of his life, and again, open up and be a little vulnerable, because there is a dynamic that's struggling right now with his personal life. Even more, I know we mentioned at the top he's struggling with his wife, but he's also struggling at home with his kids and the way his family's set up. I mean, I know we were both shocked to see the house tour and find that he didn't even have a toilet.
Yeah, no toilet in the master bedroom. There's like 3 sleeping bags in the master suite. So the kids are sleeping in there. The kids are in the bed. I get it, right? Like, you want to have your kids close. You're a good dad. You love your family. But like, time and place, exactly like you said, Christine B. It is just, it's too much. How are you supposed to have alone time with your wife and reconnect? And I'm a big believer that like the marriage should come first and the kids come second. I know that's controversial. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think, but I think it's important to have a core foundation, and that will radiate to your children.
Right.
So he needs to work on some stuff. Like, you can tell, again, he loves his family so much. He talks about Alexa like she's the love of his life, which she is, but his actions are not matching his words.
Yeah, man. I mean, just going back to it, the kids sleeping in the bed thing, to me, is, I know for me that would be a huge...
I slept in the bed for a long time, but like at a certain point, you gotta cut that cord.
You have to.
You gotta cut it.
You need to cut it. Hey, we're gonna send Brandon that song. You gotta cut it. No, but seriously, especially because they are so young. I mean, they're 20. He's 28. I believe they got married at what, 20, like,
or
right,
younger. They've been married for 9 years.
Right. They've been. Okay,
we can't do
let's
math
do the
here.
math. 21.
We're struggling.
20. Whatever. 19. Let's go with 19, guys. They've been together for quite a while, and I know couples who I guess started their journey a little bit later, like who are in their 30s, 40s, have been together for 9 years and have those kids, and like how they struggle with intimacy and things like that. So you don't want to have that start so early on in your marriage.
You have a lifetime together. You got to focus on the core foundation of your family, your marriage, and love your kids and spend time with your kids, but have boundaries. Kids have their own space. You have your own space. You're welcome to come into my space, but you can't. It's like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here all damn night.
Agreed. And I know they love their kids, but if you want to keep making those kids, you got to kick the kids out of the room. Feel me?
I feel you.
Gotta, 28 young. I'm assuming they still want to get it in, but there are things happening. We keep it real here on this panel at AfterBuzz,
we
guys.
Sure do.
Gotta keep it 100 all the time. So let's just dive right into this transformation.
Ooh, okay.
The goal at the end of the week is to get ready for the Veterans Community Project's fundraiser event, where Brandon does have to get up in front of people and speak.
700 people. This is no joke. This is 700. A situation. I don't know if I could do that. That's a lot.
I mean, we get up here and speak in front of all of these people.
I know, but like live audience, you got people looking. I don't know. It's scary. So I feel, even though he doesn't seem too scared about it, but he knows he needs to step up.
Agreed. It's definitely a big event. Goes back to what we said about there being a time and place for everything, and really needing to showcase the best parts of yourself in the areas of your life where it matters and it means something. And in this case, when you're trying to raise this much money for something you're so passionate about, it makes sense to be a little nervous and to do your due diligence to get ready for it. Insert the Fab Five, because this is what they do. Who should we get into first?
I would love to start with Tan.
Let's talk about Tan.
Because I'm liking this skater boy turned lumberjack, like cool dad, sophisticated. I'm really liking this transformation that Tan did. What did you think about the fitting room and him taking into that store and him picking out some of those plaids,
those pieces? I enjoyed it. I think, like Tan, I agree that Brandon is an attractive guy.
He's super cute.
Like, Why was he calling
28.
himself big?
I know. He kept saying fluffy and big, and he's like, Tan is like, you're not the size that you think you are.
No, I mean, you a little wide, but not. He's just not.
I can't with you.
Dying with
we
that.
watched this episode together, and I could not. She's like, he's not big. He's just a little wide, I couldn't even.
He's not even like heavy set, big bone. Like he's just like.
He's a man.
He's a man. Yeah. He's a guy who works with his hands. You got to build some muscles on that construction site. Plus, having been in the military, like, come on now. Like, I get his situation being medically discharged, which we'll talk about a little more in depth. But I think he forgot his own sexy
swag,
his own everything.
And I love, Christine, that he makes it light and fun. Like when Tan says, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to be sexy for Alexa. Like I want her to smack my ass and be like, yeah.
How
so
cute.
I love that he had a sense of humor about it and really wanted to bring fun and some levity back into his own marriage.
Yeah, and there's nothing more attractive than knowing your husband wants to look good for you. Like,
confidence is everything. Confidence is king.
Confidence. I'll say it one more time.
Confidence.
Hey, girl, let's talk about it. So he finds his confidence back. Tan gets him into, the first look was like this camo jacket. Love that with the dark jeans. Really nice muted look. He is a pale guy, so I think kind of that contrast of the dark worked well with him.
Yeah, and it's a rugged beard look. It all kind of flowed together. And the military, obviously, the camo and paying homage to his background.
Took the words right out of my mouth. This girl's amazing, guys. Literally, like, could not be more spot on. Kind of maybe even too easy of a task for Tan, maybe.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe.
How would you rate this? Like, scale of 1 to 5? 5 being
the first look?
Killer, yeah. Or just Tan's transformation.
I'm going to give him a 5 just because he nailed it. Like, he, I think, had the perfect balance of bringing out the best physical qualities in him while keeping it polished. Like, that was the goal. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard because it's like, I look at it like, how much did he push them outside of their comfort zone versus, like, how much did he just make them shine on their own?
Exactly.
It's like a good mix of both, Tan. You're doing a good job. We'll say that.
Okay, 5 stars for Tan.
5 stars. 5 stars for the second look as well, which was like a layered look with like a nice tee and a cardigan. Mm-hmm. Again, dark jeans and some sneakers, kind of keeping it cash.
I loved it. Again, I say it every episode. I'm like a broken record. These guys are experts at bringing out the best in someone and not completely changing who they are, which is the key for long-lasting success. And coming up in news and gossip, I will let y'all know whether or not Brandon kept up with his transformation.
With the look.
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, Tan kind of, it's pretty straightforward what he has to do, and I think we can say confidently that he nails it by the end of the episode. I think keeping in line with that, we can talk about Jonathan and kind of the grooming aspect that went on. Again, Jonathan, I think he's very partial to the heroes with mustaches and beards.
Yes,
because it's
totally.
Like,
He's so, yeah. There's definitely a bias.
Definitely. And I think he does a good job at, like, keeping that same aesthetic, unless it's something like wild, burly. But even then, he's like helped other heroes just refine it. And just the simple act of trimming it down a bit just did the world of a difference.
Oh, you can see that jawline, baby girl. And like he trimmed it in a way that kept the fullness, but gave it structure at the bottom.
No double chin over here.
No double chin. And he said, you know what? It can help you with your jawline, but you also want to not have so much in the bottom because it makes you look heavier than you are. And so that probably was playing into Brandon's own self-perception of who he was because he had so much hair down in the like chin neck area.
Right.
And oh man, he was chiseled and just looking. This happens every episode. I did not see the full potential until Jonathan stepped in, and then I was like, he is a 28-year-old hot dad. Looking good, ex-military. Like, he is a catch. Like, him and Alexa are a beautiful couple.
Definitely. You see the love between them. Like, it totally makes sense when you see them together, why it worked out. I know we both kind of laughed at that moment that Jonathan had when he was talking about beards. He said, beards are makeup for men. And I could not agree more.
Yeah, you love that.
I love that. It's honestly, because I know women do get a lot of flack sometimes for whether they're a little, overdoing it with the makeup or not doing it enough. It's like, sometimes it feels like we can't win with that. Whereas like with guys, the beard is just so much more acceptable. I feel like it's just the norm.
I know.
And it is kind of like makeup, because I know some guys who use it like a crutch. Like they would never be caught dead without their beard.
The shade.
A little shade, a little realness, but it's true. Even Jonathan acknowledged it, that it is an attachment kind of factor there. And so, but still, you're not above keeping it well trimmed. If that's what you're gonna rock with, make sure it looks good. So
and treat it with care. Use your oils, like do the grooming, use the beard comb.
Exactly.
And it's not like it doesn't take work, but I agree. It's kind of like makeup for men. I agree.
And with anything, quality. Make sure it looks good.
Exactly.
Another thing I really appreciated about their conversation, as he kind of worked on him in the salon, was reminding Brendan that he can do both work and home life and have that balance. I think that's what this whole episode really kind of is doing, teaching him how to do that juggling act. And I think just kind of bringing it home, like he gave him some cute ideas and tips for like date night and like getting a babysitter, just kind of like working through some ideas to get him really thinking. And I thought it was good to have that conversation as he's having the glow up, like, yeah, actually it's a good idea. I look good. I'm gonna get the babysitter. I'm gonna leave the kids upstairs. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So cute.
Yeah, he's totally feeling himself. And I think looking in his own reflection, he's like, damn, like I still got it. Like I think part of this episode is he feels like his life is over because he got honorably discharged from the military, the medical discharge. And I feel like it's so sad because he is so young. He's 28 years old with 3 kids and a wife. Your life is just beginning. And I understand his identity was so wrapped with his profession and with serving this country. And again, I salute any member of the military services. But to have it be so black and white that your life is over because you're no longer able to do something that you love, you're so young, you're in a position to find other things that you love. Right. And I think when he sees himself in the mirror, he's like, okay, I still got it. I still have so much life ahead of me. I'm still a young, attractive guy with a great family and so much support around me. He's been supporting everyone else, not realizing he has so much support. And I think he really realizes that, like, okay, it's a new chapter in my life. This one's closing, but doesn't mean it's all over.
Yeah, I think you hit all the right points.
Long-winded.
No,
I got there.
That was amazing. It really, and to your point, like he's already like on paper with the wife, the kids and all that, so much further along than I think a lot of people in life.
I'm 29. I am single as a dollar bill, no children, still figuring out my life and where, everything's going. So yes, girl, he is light years ahead of a lot of us.
Yeah, in a way it was like frustrating for a moment. I'm like, gosh, you have everything. You have the support system. You have all these people who love you. Like, why isn't it enough per se? But it also, again, is a moment to kind of reflect and realize, like, you can have all those things on paper, but if you're not right inside and you're not leaning into that support, it's almost like it's not there.
Yep.
And that's kind of how he was operating his life. I also want to ask you, it kind of like made me think a little bit how great and I guess selfless and mature of a person he is to still do all this community work with veterans, not because they're not deserving of it, but having gone through something so traumatic as being medically discharged from the military before he felt like it was his time, kind of being ripped away from this family and community that he was thrust into so quickly, and then to turn around and devote your life to serving that, even though you can't really be a part of it anymore. Didn't that like stick out to you? I thought that was like very profound.
It was really intense. And maybe we can shift gears and talk about Karamo.
Definitely.
It feels like a natural point to bring that up. He talks and says that Brandon says he felt like he was failing in life. And Karamo asks him, well, who told you that? Did Alexa tell you that? Who's telling you that? And he's like, no, I tell myself that. But it doesn't come from nowhere. He said that when he was medically discharged, he had people in the service, maybe not quite his best friends, but people who he respected say like, oh, you're just using this to get out and you don't want to be here. And it's so apparent that all Brandon wants to do is be there. That's it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it really hit me. It's like, that was your life. And it just, in a freak accident in Afghanistan, he actually suffered a traumatic brain injury, and I like the way Karamo kind of described it when talking about the visibility of it. It's an invisible injury in the sense that it's something, yes, that obviously affected him. I'm sure he was hospitalized and is dealing with it, but he doesn't have he's not paraplegic. You know what I mean? He's not wearing it on his body. And it really, really broke my heart to hear him say that he used to wish he would get into car accidents or have things happen to him just so he could have a scar or some sort of physical badge of honor.
Amputation. Yeah, it's heartbreaking because here's someone who has so much love and selflessness in him. To feel like he is worth nothing was so heartbreaking. And I love when he and Karamo go to the National World War I Museum and have a quiet time and a quiet space to be able to talk about his feelings about it, and Karamo really helps him break down these layers and say that you're not failing in life and you're the one that tells yourself that. I wrote a note when I said failing in life, and I wrote, we are all so hard on ourselves. We are our own worst enemies at times, and we create these situations in our heads that don't necessarily exist and make things sometimes worse. And I love that. I know it's getting real. It is getting real.
Drop us a comment and let us know if you can relate to that moment, because that is something that I think hit us both so deeply.
I'd love to hear what you guys think, because I know that for a lot of us, the things I say to myself in my head, I would never say to another person. I would never dream it. Even people, my enemies, I would never be that cruel.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, oh, AK this, AK that, and okay, you can't do it, all of the things. And I really related to Brandon in this moment. I think a lot of you guys did too.
Agreed. I think Karamo really said it best when he kind of just looked him in the eye and said, judging yourself is not good for you. Like, just to hear it said it plain, so simply like that.
What does it accomplish?
It's just, there's already so many other people in the world who could be potentially judging you. It's like, why do it to yourself?
Why?
You have to give yourself some grace, some kindness, and a little bit of, again, grace to kind of grow and make some mistakes. And within that grace gives you the period to grow as well. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not allowing yourself to just honestly look at your situation and be like, okay, like, I know it feels like it's the end of the world right now, but it's not, because I have my wife, my loving wife, my kids, and all these people in my life who support me. Look outward instead of turning that anxiety and those feelings inward. Very difficult. I'm sure that's a lifelong process, but I think it definitely got its legs in this episode with the help of Karamo. So
yes.
Shout out to Karamo.
Love Karamo. Always.
Love that. And again, aside from like obviously his identity issues with being discharged from the military, again, going back to how he can put that effort into his relationship with his wife, because that's really something that needed a lot of attention this episode. Mm-hmm. Insert Bobby, who makes some really poignant observations about their family house dynamic. I think this is a great time to get into the house transformation, because my goodness, that penis on the wall.
Or heart. Karamo said it was a heart.
Bless your heart, Karamo. Bless your heart. It's a big, big heart of yours. But that was a big, big something else on the wall.
Big. Big.
And on that note, the house was just kind of riddled with unfinished projects, which is kind of ironic considering he does projects for a living.
Right.
I get it. You come home, you don't really want to.
You have great ideas, but like you can't really execute.
Exactly.
You spent all your days executing.
And that's something that I love that Bobby kind of spoke up and said he can relate to as an interior designer and someone who works in that space of like, all right, you need to come home and kind of decompress from all that. But it's also affecting his family, because this is where they live. This is their space now as well that's being affected by you not completing these projects. So that's something that needed to be fixed. The bathroom.
Sans toilet. I mean, they have to like go downstairs every time. You gotta do anything. It was gonna be crude, but like there's no way to do anything.
Could you imagine?
I know.
Trying to do number 2 in a little
I don't do that.
Yeah. What?
I don't do that. Anyway, we're moving on.
So that was a big, big problem. I can't get over that.
I'm dead. I love you so much.
Guys, do you go number 2?
Stop. I can't.
Because AK doesn't.
I don't.
Oh my God.
I'm dead right now. I can't. Okay,
Ooh,
anyway, Bobby's transformation.
Bobby's transformation. Starting with all those points and culminating right in the bedroom, because that's where the kids spend a little too much time. We spoke about it a lot at the top. There needs to be some sort of balance here. So Bobby does a great job, I guess.
I am obsessed with what Bobby did. those columns that came out with the headboard with the light behind, I mean, it looked like a hotel. It looked like a place where they can get away and just escape and get some stuff done. And I am really warming up to Bobby and his design. It's always been good, but I feel like season 4, especially in the last few episodes, he has really elevated his game completely.
Agreed. I think he hit all the notes. Again, I also really loved that bedroom because I felt like the way the columns came forward and the lights and the dark navy blue backsplash kind of made me feel like I was looking up at the night sky.
So beautiful.
So
romantic. Yes.
Romantic. Love it. Nailed it, Bobby.
And you loved another thing you loved, that because we watched this episode together, which I love when we get to do that, the kitchen and how the dining room, the table was kind of fused with the island, so there's a really good family space. They can kind of cook and eat and do homework all in the same area. So sweet, and it really shows how Bobby was thinking about bringing the family back together.
Love that. It was very good. And kudos to Bobby for also like utilizing someone who is very handy and knows construction and having him have a direct hand in that process by creating the island with him. So again, and I think it also was a good way to get that muscle memory of starting a project and completing it, seeing it in your home. That will definitely stay with you the next time you think about starting something and seeing the impact it can have once it is finished.
I love when Bobby and the heroes get to interact and build something together. I think it is a really nice thing that the show can do sometimes.
Definitely. I mean, it would be a missed opportunity not to, if we're being honest.
He's a craftsman.
He is a craftsman. So I think we covered everybody except Antoni. Antoni. You were not a fan of what Antoni taught Brandon how to make.
Well, don't set me up to get ripped in the comments, but...
Just speak your piece, girl.
I love Antoni usually because he's so conscious about family and healthy. Pasta carbonara is not a healthy family option. It's easy, which I get, but you can still do easy and do healthy, and I know this because he's done it before. So I was like, the eggs and the bacon, the prosciutto and the butter, I just didn't think it was suitable for our hero to learn as sort of like an everyday meal. A special meal, but he was really positioning it as it's easy and quick and it'd be good for the kids. Everyone loves it. I'm like, yeah, everyone loves butter and salt and pasta. Like, who doesn't love that? So for me, I did, I'm going to give Antoni like a B instead of a usual A+.
Okay.
Still good. And I still love Antoni. He's one of my favorite of the 5, but I just thought it was a little bit of a mismark considering Brandon's family dynamic.
Okay. He does have 3 small children, so I get your concern. Definitely seems like more of like a mommy and daddy date night kind of meal to whip up together with a nice like red wine or something, kind of cut the sugar and the sweetness from the pasta and all that butter and eggs. Although when the kids had it, it didn't seem like they had any of the extra stuff. They just had the pasta, I guess. But
no, sure, Christine.
No, you're making a fair point. Gotta give everybody some love. No, but yeah, you're right. He could have tried something else out. But I think in terms of like beginner stuff, like pasta is kind of foolproof.
Totally.
So, and considering that was his first time cooking ever, which as unbelievable as it sounds, I think it was more unbelievable to hear early on in the episode that he just changed his first diaper.
Well, on the third kid. What the hell? That's not okay. That is not okay. Any dads watching, that is unacceptable. Help your wife and partner out. That is unacceptable.
That blew my mind. Let us know if that blew your mind in the comments.
I get it. Part of it is he was deployed.
Right.
But he still was back intermittently, I think they talked about, and also now. So it's just not okay. If you're able to do it and at home, you got to do it.
Well, he's learned something real simple. A little pancetta, peas, cheese, pasta, eggs.
There was peas, so I guess that's kind of healthy.
Peas are yummy
for kids.
Love that.
I don't know, guys.
I think we can both agree maybe
a side salad. Let's add a side salad.
Right?
Or some, a little mixed greens, some extra veggies, something to just bolster it a little bit.
Fair point, Antoni. Let's see if episode 8 you can wow us with something different.
All right, I'm up. B+.
B+. We'll take it. All in all, though, it seems like all the little tidbits and polishing that every single guy did really paid off in the end, because not only did Brendan look amazing at his fundraising event, which went off without a hitch, great speech, but I think the real moment here was the reveal to his family and sitting down with Alexa and just telling her how he feels.
Yes. So this was my most tear-jerking moment of the show. I thought it was so heartwarming the way he talked about her being the love of his life and just how much he cared about her and wanted her to be happy and was committed to opening up to her more emotionally and being present and being there for him, for her and the family.
Love that little tear-jerking moment going on. Feeling all the feels. My most tear-jerking moment of this episode really was when Karamo and Brandon were sitting down at the World War I Museum and just talking about all the walls that he's built up and how he feels like he can't be vulnerable. Also because I just like Karamo felt like, dude, you're saying you can't be vulnerable, but like you've been sharing so much. But I think that conversation was really where the progress started to happen. And I appreciated that so much because, I mean, we did get the tears. So, my tears started to fall as well.
It's true. I saw them.
Gosh, it
didn't get me to tear. I was emotional, but I look over and Christine's like, I was like, whoa, it really affected you.
I love a good, like, come to Jesus moment of like, this is who I am. This is where I am in my life. And just the whole concept of like owning your identity and like figuring out your purpose as life changes and like having to like get to know different versions of yourself, because he was so far into his life one way and then things just changed and now he had to figure out the next phase. And seeing him kind of talk through that with Karamo and how he can make that better, really, really, it warmed my heart. So love that moment.
Yes, so good.
All right, before we wrap, let's get into some news and gossip, guys.
News and gossip, my favorite. All right, guys, I love a before and after and seeing if our heroes kept up with their transformation. Good news, Brandon Mixon has. So this is a very recent headshot. He posted this on his Instagram about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And he is looking sexy. That beard is still rocking. He looks like a new man. Like, I would give him all my money. I would donate everything to this guy.
Wow.
So very happy for everyone who was, debating if he really could do it. Well, I'm happy to say that he has.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan set him up for success with a great cut. It's already just bringing out those beautiful blue eyes.
I know. I didn't even see his eyes during the episode, and now I'm all about it.
Loving this look
Alexis
for you, Brandon.
got herself a catch.
Absolutely. I would dare to say that baby number 4 is on the way by this point.
Oh, maybe there's some more news and gossip. We'll have to check in maybe for the finale and see if I can dig up any more extra bits on Instagram.
I love that. And I also just love when the heroes also meet up together. We saw that a lot in season 3 in Kansas City, kind of people meeting up after their lives have been changed. So I'd love to see some of the heroes from this season get together as well.
Yeah, maybe a Deanna, Brandon moment. I don't know. Could be fun.
Could definitely be fun.
Yeah, so there you guys have it.
There you guys have it. Our hero is doing well. Another sparkly day in the life of the Fab Five. We love you guys so much. The Fab Five and you guys for tuning in with us. Thank you so much. We will be back here next week to break down episode 8. But until then, you can find me, your host, Christine Alexis, on Instagram at Christine I Alexis and on Twitter at Christine Bean with 3 E's.
Make sure you guys follow her because she has the best content. Ooh. You can also find me on all social media at Anna K. Thomas, but Instagram is my favorite. Mm-hmm. And make sure you are right back here next week for our season finale. I can't even believe we're already at this point, but we want to make sure you guys are with us for the bittersweet end.
Oh, very, very bittersweet. All right, get your tissues ready and we'll see you back here next week, guys.
Mwah, stay fabulous.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.